Hello. Hello everyone, I am Nibberful and welcome back to my channel. Excuse me, as you can probably tell by my voice, I am still getting over being sick. I've been sick for like a week now, but I'm almost there, positive. Literally 5 minutes before I started filming, my sinuses just started burning like crazy. Flames on the side of my face. If you get that reference. I'm actually kind of wearing a top like she did in that movie. Anyway, we are here to react to the first episode of Mystery Files. Woohoo! It's finally here! Yay! So I'm very excited to watch that. It's called The Unhinged Bank Heist of DB Tuber. If you are somewhat of an internet sleuth or a true crime aficionado, you will have heard of DB Cooper, I'm sure. I've not heard of DB Tuber. I don't know if it's a play on that or it's a completely different thing. It's probably a completely different thing. But I mean, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Get right into it, shall we? I have no idea what to expect from this video, actually. I mean, I watched the trailer. Obviously, judging from judging from Ghost Files, they obviously switched up the format quite a lot from when they were on BuzzFeed, you know, copyright, etc. It seemed like they were doing sort of PowerPoint presentations almost for each other, so no idea what's going to happen, but I'm excited about it. So let's get into it, shall we? All right, so maybe not so much PowerPoint presentations. I've been in the UK too long. English no longer computes in my brain. Oh, that and the cold meds. Oh my god, so much mucus. Yeah, cool retro format like they had for Ghost Files. I have a feeling I'm going to be stopping quite often to have a good cough, so I apologize. I'll try and cut out as much as possible. Yeah, here we go. Enough talking. Let's just watch it.
Oh, is this person somehow cooler than DB Cooper?
When I think of a heist, the last word that comes to mind is lazy.
Right, so it's not DB Cooper, but somewhat DB Cooper-esque, I'm assuming.
Mystery Files.
Hi.
A deep dive into cases that span from the creepy to the truly bizarre and everything in between. I'm Ryan, and today I'll be forcing my colleague Shane to hear all about the unhinged case of DB Tuber. And in the end, you'll have to decide if the mystery is solved or if it's simply
honestly every time. Right, we're back. Try not to breathe too heavily into the mic. Oh, I can't really breathe through my nose, I'm sorry. Again, I really like the art style. Oh, gosh darn it! It's definitely giving Stranger Things, isn't it?
What's a tuber? Is a tuber a potato?
No, actually, but I'm gonna let
A tuber
you
is a
figure that
potato,
out on your
actually.
own.
A tuber.
A potato is a tuber.
Look, you're in the mystery zone.
Yeah, I guess I already got some
I'm not
questions.
gonna just give you tips. Yeah,
A tuber.
write that down. Who's DB Tuber? What's a tube?
What's a tube?
Off to a good start. Shall we get into this?
I like Shane's jacket
Tucked
he's
away in the
wearing.
Cascadia foothills, 30 miles northeast of Seattle, sits the town of Monroe, Washington. With a population of only 16,000, it's a place where people believe in...
Taking it back a little bit because I started spacing out when the dog needed a tickle. And, you know, like I said, cold meds. Oh, I'm a mess. I just noticed his little button, Professor from Puppet History. I love that.
It's a place where people believe in helping their neighbors, but also minding their own damn business. However, on the morning of September 30th, 2008, all of that would change.
2008?
At 11 a.m., landscapers began to gather at a local strip mall. Each were dressed exactly the same. Work boots, a blue hat, a long-sleeved blue shirt, a fluorescent safety vest, and and a protective particle mask. In other words, you couldn't see who they were.
Is this a
Yeah.
flash mob?
No. Now to demonstrate how
You couldn't see who they were, obviously. Their faces would have been hidden, but they were all wearing the same thing. So if they're all dressed identically, there's no identifiable characteristics, I suppose you could say, between any of the potential suspects. So clever, clever.
well this would actually conceal the identity of the wearer. We're actually going to have somebody come in right now.
And I can guess their identity.
Mystery man, can you please enter?
That's Carter. That's your cousin Carter.
Well, you wouldn't know that's Carter if you didn't know Carter personally.
Toe to tip, that's Carter.
But if you didn't know Carter and you didn't know Carter was going to be in this vicinity, you would not have guessed that's Carter.
I guess if I saw him on the street, I might not say that. No, I'd say that's Carter.
Imagine you're like turning on like a lawnmower.
Thank you, Carter.
Good
One
demonstration.
landscaper was already hard at work using
Committed
a
to
pump
the bit.
sprayer on the grass. At 11:05, a Brinks truck arrived on schedule to the Bank of America at the strip mall. Security guard Gerardo Willie Valdez stepped out of his truck to gather 2 bags of cash and a hand truck with 4 boxes of coins.
I don't think they have Brinks in the UK. I wonder who does cash transport, if there's like a specific company, or... I'm curious now. I think I'm going to Google it. Looks like just a bunch of different private companies do it over here. I actually worked with G4S when I worked at Starbucks as a supervisor there. They did all of our cash transfers from like the safe and stuff like that. So they were pretty decent. Mystery solved. I just like looking up stuff because, you know, knowledge is... I wouldn't say so much power in this instance. Knowledge is probably cluttering my brain, but becoming useful someday.
Gerardo Willie Valdez stepped out of his truck to gather 2 bags of cash and a hand truck with 4 boxes of coins. After shutting
Right.
the doors to the truck, Valdez began wheeling his delivery towards the bank. Suddenly, the lone working landscaper dropped their pump sprayer and began sprinting towards him. When the landscaper reached Valdez,
That is definitely not something you would ever want to see in any situation where you're carrying a large amount of money. Somebody sprinting headlong towards you. That's not good. It's kind of terrifying.
they produced a can.
Of whoop ass?
It wasn't a can of whoop-ass, but I'll tell you what it was a can of. Before Valdez had time to react, his face was sprayed with mace that would make light work out of a 1,000-pound bear. This
bear
guy took a
mace.
bear mace to the face.
But
Yeah.
that's not Carter, right? That's not.
That stuff is a freaking lethal. I've never been maced myself, thank God. But I've had friends who've gone to like protests and stuff like that. Let's just say it's not so fun.
As far as I know, that's not Carter. Also of note, this was in 2008. Carter would be 8 years old. And I recall Carter not having that kind of stature at that age. Us Bergaras, we grow late in life. With Valdez
Relatable.
incapacitated,
I am
the
still only
landscaper scooped up the canvas
5'1"
bags of cash
on a good day.
and fled across the street towards Eagle Park.
Oh.
The entire crime took about 30 seconds. Across the street, local realtor Mitch
Wow, that's
Ruth
fast.
was on the phone with a client as he watched it transpire. When he saw the robber charge the Brinks truck security guard, Ruth told his client, quote, "There's a bank robbery. Gotta go." And
Gotta go. So was this guy working on his own then? I fully expected all of the kind of workers to be in on it because they're all dressed up in the same way. They all have the same masks, all essentially have the same hidden identity. Because if they were all working on it together, surely they'd go for the truck and steal everything in it. But I don't know, maybe it was just him.
and groan.
There's bank robbery. Gotta go.
If you saw a bank robbery, would you try and stop it?
No.
Any of
No,
them?
hell
I think
no.
people should rob from banks.
What if you saw like someone robbing like an old lady or something?
That I don't agree with.
Would you
No.
try and stop it?
No. Well, I mean, yes. Old lady, yes.
You would try and stop
I
it.
would try to stop someone robbing an old lady.
Oh. Sorry about that. Roommate came home and the dog obviously wanted to go say hi, bless him. Sorry, I'm gonna blow my nose. Right, sorry about that. I am still fighting a losing battle with mucus. So, go back.
I would try to stop someone robbing an old lady. Proceed.
I was just trying to prove that you're a coward.
No, I would stop an old lady from, you know, that.
You realize I'm saying stopping someone from robbing an old lady, not stopping an old lady from robbing a bank.
I see what you're saying. No,
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
No, if I saw someone, you know, punching an old woman, I'd be like, hey, can't be doing that.
Yeah, give him a thorough
You
talking
walk
to.
away. Remember that.
I didn't.
Calling the police on his phone, Ruth watched the perp Frogger across traffic. And
Oh,
gave
God.
chase. While in retreat, the
Playing
robbers
traffic
stripped off
is
their hat,
terrifying.
long brown wig, white particle mask, and shorts. Once the robber reached Eagle Park, Mitch lost
Right.
them. The last thing Ruth saw was the robber running into the woods with nearly $400,000 under their arms. I was
Damn, $400,000 in one money bag? Holy hell. Well, I suppose if it's stocking an entire bank, it's one hell of a money bag. But interesting to know he had on a wig as well as all the other disguise as well. So he was prepared. He was prepared. And he took him down with bear mace. Interesting.
was wondering this as I was like putting this together. How easy would it be to have like literally $400,000 under your arms like this?
I mean, it depends what kind of notes we're working with.
Yeah,
I would
that's very
hazard a
true.
guess, and I may be way
It's
off
large
here, of, like,
denominations.
60 to 80 pounds.
And how much do you think that would hinder your movement? I mean, obviously
Not
this
much.
is
I'm a big, strong guy. I got.
Well, I was gonna say this is obviously more of a question for like.
It obviously depends on what sort of bag it is as well. If it's like one of those old style, cartoon money bags with like the dollar signs on it, and that's going to be hard to carry. But if it's like the bags you see today, that's like basically a duffel bag, you can sling that over the shoulder.
Someone who's an athlete, so this may not apply to
Yeah.
you. But I'm thinking that if I'm running like this,
Yeah.
like when I want to run dynamic, I need my arms to move like this to help the feet move.
Yeah,
But
and
if
I bound more like the BFG, so
Yeah.
because I don't even know that it's necessarily a lot of arm strength in that situation.
Yeah.
Because you could even, that,
on the
and then you
shoulders,
use your
yeah.
shoulders, and then it's just more about the legs.
But then you're very top heavy.
Yeah, but I'm used to that, aren't I?
But I think in that scenario, the adrenaline would be so much that you probably wouldn't even fucking notice, would you? You'd just be absolutely legging it.
But you're adding more heaviness to the top. I predict.
I know what you're trying to argue here is that you would succeed at this and I wouldn't, but I think you're mistaken. I think you would start crying.
Who is Les Mills? Les Mills is a
has so many
mindset.
ads.
60
I
minutes
need YouTube
away from
Premium.
your
Just yesterday, I was sitting on the ground and you were like, well, I can't believe you can sit like that. My legs hurt when I do that.
Okay, being
And-
flexible has nothing
And
to
what
do about
happened?
how fast you
And
can
what
move.
happened? You said, well, I ran this morning. I said, yeah, I did too.
Within minutes, the police arrived to the
Sick burn.
chaos at the Bank of America.
To be fair, I am so inflexible. I'm not going to be entering any gymnastic contests anytime soon, let me tell you that.
They were greeted by one of the landscapers shouting, "We just got scammed!"
Oh
The
no!
police learned that each landscaper had replied to the same Craigslist ad listed from the Queen Monroe Beautification Project. A
Oh!
relatively lucrative
That's so tricky. I did not see that coming.
9-day landscaping job paying $28.50 an hour. The ad told all
$28.50
applicants
an
to
hour.
gather at
Goddamn!
this specific lot on
That's a lot of
small
money.
patch of blacktop between Jack in the Box and the Bank of America. The ad specified all
America.
workers must purchase safety glasses or equivalent eye protection, ventilator mask, yellow safety vest, long sleeves, and no shorts, along with proper foot protection.
Pretty good gig, honestly.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah, $28.50 for sure. Landscaping does generally. I don't know about the States. Landscaping in Canada, where I grew up, pays pretty well. Pays pretty well, not gonna lie. If you're working with a proper company. That's so clever, though. I did not see that coming. Oh, and he made them buy their own stuff. That's brutal. They really did get scammed.
Point.
For 2008,
You got to remember, this is in the time of the Great Recession.
kind of shitty. You got to buy your own little masks and
Just
stuff.
wanna pause
but
this.
prob-
Sort out the noog. I wonder if one day there will ever be a video my pets won't interrupt constantly. Don't think so. Yeah, I'm starting to see why they also call this the Unhinged bank heist. Because, damn, that's good. That's clever.
Probably fun to buy a
$28.50 an hour at that time.
cool little costume.
Now that we're in your mind, You see this ad, you're struggling, you're a landscaper, you get there thinking I'm about to have a nice payday, you see a bunch of people dressed like you. Who are these guys? What's your thoughts?
Well, I have been a landscaper, and that's the team.
Well, you gotta also remember,
I too
this is
have been a
Bank of America
landscaper.
they're landscaping. Not a lot of greenery at a Bank of America.
I will say that is a pretty big team for what is probably a pretty small lot.
But is it enough for you to be like, what's going on here?
12 is overkill.
And this was the sentiment of the folks there and also of the lead detective who showed up and realized all these people responded to the same ad.
Yeah. I won't make a comment. I'll let them continue on and see if there's more.
Get into why that happened. Lead detective Tim
There we
Bazell
go.
followed the gravel trail the perpetrator had fled down. Along the way, they collected the items left behind. The path came to a dead end at the edge of Woods Creek, a stream less than 2 feet deep. After finding nothing for an hour, despite the use of a helicopter and a K-9 unit, a patrol officer
Interesting.
finally found a yellow and black inner tube.
This is where the tubing comes in. DB tuber.
100 yards downstream, hidden under the underbrush.
Whoa, is this person somehow cooler than DB Cooper? Because my man Coop, cool guy,
Cool guy.
right?
Sunglasses, suit, ordering bourbon.
Yeah, but this guy seems to value the chillaxitude
That's right.
of a lazy river.
Attitude for chillaxitude.
Exactly right, my friend. And I respect that.
And you know what? Can you think of anything more cool than having a high octane crime and then kicking back on a lazy river after?
You're just sitting there with 2 bags of money, sucking down a little Mai Tai.
When
Just
I think of a
chilling.
heist,
Straight
the last
up
word
chilling.
that comes to mind is lazy. And
Yeah.
this guy's a fucking genius.
I like it.
Also found was a torn off shirt, a radio that was velcroed onto the inner tube, and a steel cable stretched between a tree and a fallen log.
Right. Well, if he had a radio, then he was definitely working with somebody else, wasn't he? Who was it then?
That the robber used to pull themselves. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, maybe we're not supposed to root for the robber, but pretty neat.
Yeah, when it's Bank of America, it's okay.
I'm gonna repeat that information one more time,
Okay?
and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to say something.
Okay.
And if you don't say anything, we'll move on. How about that?
All right.
Because you are writing things down, right? Or are you just drawing circles?
I'm drawing a tube. Yep.
He's tubing.
Also found was a
Mentally
torn-off shirt,
tubing.
a radio that was velcroed onto the inner tube.
Hang on.
And a steel-
Torn off. Okay.
Torn off shirt. Assuming that would be some sort of disguise, but if he left it with the tube and didn't take it with him, what was the purpose?
And a steel cable stretched between a tree and a fallen log that the robber used to pull themselves.
Gotcha. Okay. You're giving me the opportunity to say something that I don't know. Okay.
You're trying to solve a mystery, remember that.
Torn off shirt, Velcro radio, steel cable.
I'll give you 5 seconds.
Sounds cool. Is that what you wanted to say? Sounds cool. We love this guy.
All right, let's move on.
What were you gonna say?
I'm not gonna tell you.
I don't understand.
I'll tell you later. The police had collected
I
little
don't-
evidence by the time the day.
Yeah, I don't get the other 2 clues, but from that, if he's got a radio, he's definitely working with somebody else. That's all I can think of.
A search was called off. Surveillance footage didn't give many details about the perpetrator, except that they were white, tall, and young. There was DNA evidence from the particle
Shane.
mask and wig, but it did not match anybody in the system. When reports of the crime came out, a local radio
Was not a previous offender then, methinks. I've got to cough quickly, just bear with me. Drank some squash. The power of orange and mango compels you. The cat's finally settled down. And now the dog wants back in the office, so this is my life. No, just stood there, stared at me, and then ran down the stairs. Let's watch this, shall we?
DJ noted the similarities to DB Cooper, but instead of jumping from a plane, this perpetrator had used an inner tube. The name DB Tuber was born. It's corkboard time. Let's get into the suspects.
I can't believe I've never heard of this case before. I've legitimately never heard of DB Tuber. And I am real into true crime. Interesting. I lived in Vancouver at the time, which is not too far away from where this happened. I know in the grand scheme of things, it was quite a distance away, but everything is quite a distance away in Canada, so that seems very reasonable commute to me. The
Suspect
suspects.
number 1. Ellen Dean. One day after the crime, a patrol sergeant.
I'm really sorry if I'm breathing loudly into the mic. I'm really trying not to, but it's getting difficult.
Remembered a strange visit from a few weeks back. On September 9th, Public Works employee Randy Oshk. I think that's how you say it. Osh.
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 It looks like an Osh to me.
Osh. Randy Osh.
Randy
He called the
Osh?
police. While he was fixing a sewer near the Bank of America, an unhoused man approached Osh to tell Osh that he had discovered a robbery kit. Fazell and his partner Detective
Interesting.
Hatch tracked the man to an encampment along the Snohomish River. The man's name was Alan Dean. When they found him,
Just give me a minute. I need to cough. Oh, I also decided it'd be a good idea to use some of this Sudafed, and that shit burns. Oh, it burns so bad. Oh, the pain. It's like making my eyes water.
Dean said, "It's about time you got here.
What is in a robbery kit?
You know, stuff to commit a robbery.
A gun in a bag.
Bag of pantyhose, slime.
This just sounds like Home Alone now.
No, it doesn't. Probably like a beanie, some fingerless gloves,
Balaclavas.
an indestructible skull. That's about it, yeah.
Okay.
Originally from the
I hate to do this again, but I need to sneeze now. Sorry about that. I'm at that point where I just want to like stick 2 plugs up my nose because just breathing hurts. The inside of my sinuses is just so raw. Right, I'll stop whining now. On with the video.
the Ozarks, Dean was a 53-year-old felon. Before the recession, he had been making up to $200 a day panhandling. But now he was lucky to make $50, dashing his dreams of saving enough money to buy a car so he could drive to Arkansas and reunite with his children.
Oh.
Very sad, very sad.
Maybe he achieved his dream. If he's the guy, right? Wouldn't that be a sweet little happy ending? Maybe give him some sweet quiche.
I like
hey,
where
Daddy's here and he's got hundreds of thousands of dollars for you.
It's funny that you'd speak of Daddy, because I like how Daddy's thinking right now.
Me, Daddy?
When the police asked why Dean was expecting them, he told them that to keep his mind sharp, he read 2 newspapers a day, had seen the DB Tuber story, and had information about it. Weeks earlier, Dean was begging near the Bank of America. Behind a dumpster, he spotted a radio. As he picked it up, he saw a particle mask, a dark wig, sunglasses, and a can of mace.
Mace.
As Dean realized this was for a robbery, he became acutely aware that his fingerprints were on the evidence.
Oh.
Dean rushed to a man working nearby. Osh! He told that man, "You gonna call the law, or am I?" Osh filed the report. Expecting the police to collect what he found, Dean stayed with all of the materials. As he waited, a silver SUV pulled up. Out of the SUV jumped a young man. Dean told them, "Hey dude, I wouldn't mess with that stuff. I called the law and they're coming to pick it up." The man replied, "What'd you do that for?" The man gathered the items and drove away.
Whoa! That's
Dun
the
dun
bad guy.
dun.
According to
But also thinking, oh, sorry, my nose. It hurts so bad. There was another walkie-talkie in with those items still left behind the bank. Then there was possibly somebody else in that group of 12 people that was working with him, maybe?
Dean, of course. This is
Oh,
my
okay. I mean, yeah, okay.
I'm just
You
gonna hold
can't
my
jump to
finger
conclusions
like this.
that.
I've jumped.
Oh my gosh. I want to support you, but there's so many ads. Just gonna pause recording and let us run through because support. Right, and we're back. I feel like my nostrils are on fire. My sinuses. This must be what being mace feels like.
According to Dean, of course. This is
Oh,
Dean is
okay.
saying.
I mean, yeah, okay.
You can't jump to conclusions like that.
I've jumped.
That's old school, like, kid shit that we did on another show.
Remember that?
They remember it. Using the pen Dean had for his crosswords, he wrote down the license plate number. The officers ran the plate
Interesting.
number, but what came back shocked them. Suspect number 2. Emily Curcio.
who he's.
Doesn't mean anything to you yet.
I was gonna
No.
say, I don't recognize the name.
I know.
Seems like a lovely lady, as far as I can tell. Look
Well,
at that
I'll tell you about
stunning
it.
silhouette.
The vehicle was registered to a woman named Emily Curcio. Well known in the community, Emily had grown up in Monroe. In high school, she was the captain
apparently
of
a
the
cheerleader?
cheerleading squad. After graduation, Emily went to Washington State University.
Obviously not
where she was
trustworthy.
an honors student and received her BA in communications. After college, Emily married her longtime boyfriend, Anthony Curcio. Everybody who lived in Monroe knew the Curcios. In 2004, let's take this one off too, the Curcios bought lakefront property and moved into a 4,000 square
Interesting.
foot home. Her co-workers said that Emily was smart, quick learning, and was never afraid to take on the next challenge. She was extremely organized, proactive, and diligent. Her level of
Like the type of person who would plan a robbery, perhaps? This lakefront property didn't happen to suffer from the recession, did it?
detail, organization, and ability to multitask were beneficial to the team. In 2005, she began working in real estate. But when the market crashed in
yeah.
2007,
That's
so
not good.
did her lifestyle. Their home was close to being
Foreclosed.
foreclosed.
Okay.
And two of their cars were repossessed. But the little evidence
That's
the police
rough.
had all pointed to a man as the perpetrator. Her husband.
Yes, exactly. She could have been in the group of workers with that extra walkie-talkie and that wig. I can't think of words. My sinuses hurt so bad.
Anthony Curcio.
Football
Anthony's
guy.
father had been a star wide receiver at the University of Idaho, who opened a landscaping company in town after a career ending.
The plot thickens. Landscaping.
And there's also Anthony playing football.
Cocaine?
Well, you weren't supposed to see that. Just ignore that.
Okay.
Ignore that.
Drugs.
The Curcios were royalty. What do you think about that? Just like the idea of like having an illustrious high school career.
Yeah, I mean, I had a crown in high school, so I get it, you know.
You did. You were Mr. Saxton.
That's right. Saxon.
Like,
I was king.
like later
Yeah,
Hosen.
King.
You were prom king too?
No, my best friend was prom king.
Were you homecoming king? There was some other king in there, right?
I had a crown, I had a sash, you know.
It's everything you wish.
Didn't you also go to prom alone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anthony was the apparent prince.
We didn't
an
have
all-star
prom
wide receiver
where I grew
and
up, thank
homecoming king.
fucking
Like
God.
father, like mother, like
I
son.
would have hated it.
His dedication earned him a Division I scholarship to play football at the University of Idaho, though he eventually transferred to Washington State University to be with Emily. In 2004, he got his realtor's license and began flipping houses. You like that? The house is flipped upside down?
I like that a
That's
lot.
pretty good. On his first home, he made $250,000. On his second, $160,000.
Damn.
Success was short-lived, as a house he bought took nearly $100,000 more to repair than he had estimated. Then, in 2007, the housing market crashed. Anthony owed $17,000 a month.
A
in mortgage
month?
payments and had turned to painkillers and cocaine to cope. There's the cocaine. When one of the officers that had gone
Well, sorry to break it to you, my guy, but that's not gonna help out with your money problems, because painkillers and cocaine gonna cost a lot of cash.
onto high school with Emily and Anthony saw a security camera picture, the officer pointed out that the perpetrator was crouched in a runner's stance. He said, Anthony's an athlete. There's a strong possibility that's him.
Is that Carter?
Yeah, that is Carter. We didn't have Anthony actually in a runner's stance, so I contacted the nearest athlete I could.
It's always
which of
nice to
course
see
is my,
Carter. Always
is my
nice to see
cousin
Carter.
By the way, if you keep hearing that noise, it's definitely the chair. That is not me. That is not me. No.
Carter.
Yeah.
Detective Bazell uncovered that during college, Anthony had been running scams. Curcio would dress up as a mover to steal furniture. Alarm bells started to go off as
Oh,
Bazell
dear.
thought about the landscaping costume, and yet they had no evidence. The police weighed what they had. Were they to believe an unhoused man living along the river with fingerprints on evidence?
What if they were all in on it?
Or that one or two beloved members of their community were responsible for this crime.
Oh yeah, because upstanding citizens, quote unquote, upstanding citizens have never committed crimes or pulled the wool over anybody's eyes or actually been secretly really effed up. That's never happened ever.
I guess you'd have to check the bank accounts, right?
Well, obviously, if you steal from a bank, you're going to probably wash it or not even put it into the system.
Wash it?
Launder it.
Whoa.
That's just what we say in the
Cool
biz.
how you said that.
Yeah, it's just, when you do it a while, you just kind of, like the lingo kind of just becomes you.
Yeah.
Like, look at me right now. Look how relaxed I am. Kind of
That's the stance of a money launderer.
No, and
have you been
kinda
embezzling from Watcher
No,
Entertainment?
but I've been bringing these people down for a while, and you kind of just, you develop kind of an air about you.
I
after
see.
a while,
Yeah,
like,
sure,
just
sure.
ready.
So I'm supposed to guess if it's solved.
Is this
or...
mystery? Jesus, don't you fucking say it. Hey.
What?
You look at me.
I'm looking.
And you look at me too.
All right.
It's on you now. Is this mystery solved?
Yeah.
Or is it a mystery?
I'm going to hope that it's solved, and I personally think it's one of the curses.
Well, drum roll, please.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Whoa, that's good.
It's
That's
solved,
when
and
the
it's
people
all three of
upstairs-
them.
It's just my wife. This mystery is solved.
Hey, apple pie!
But you're not done yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have to guess who.
Who was it?
Tony.
We'll find out. So, the police suspected Anthony Curcio was their guy, but they needed Anthony's DNA to try and match the DNA from the mask and wig. While the FBI trailed Anthony, they hit the jackpot when Anthony Curcio threw away a Gatorade bottle full of
That's how they always get them these days, isn't
As
it?
they awaited the results,
Coffee cup,
Anthony
a Gatorade bottle.
went missing. Soon they got information that
Oh, shit.
Curcio was in Las Vegas. Typical. After 3 weeks,
Always.
Detective Bazell got a call.
To be fair though, Las Vegas, if you're wanting to launder money or get into some shady money lending, Vegas is the place to be.
From the lab. They had the DNA results. It's a match. Anthony Curcio's DNA is on the items, meaning you were correct. Anthony Curcio is DB Tuber.
I mean, I guess I'm pretty smart.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very clammy hands.
Yours are way clammier than mine.
Actually, they were
These are
pretty-
dry as a bone.
Maybe it was me.
Yeah.
On November 3rd, 2008, Anthony had arranged to hand off $17,000 to a friend in a Target parking lot. As Curcio stepped out of a Range Rover, the police swarmed with AR-15s. They shouted, "Get down! Get down!" Anthony shouted back, "This is slander! Do you know who my parents are?"
What a frickin' wiener.
Now, I'm gonna pause this right
This is
now. Remember
slander. How? You don't slander people with guns, my dude. I do not think that means what you think it means. What a douchebag.
earlier when I tested you and I said, "Hey, could you write something down if these things jump out to you?" I'm gonna repeat that information one more time,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to say something. You wanna read the things you wrote?
Torn off shirt. Velcro radio.
Now, if you were an astute investigator, Velcroed radio would tell you something.
Somebody else he's working with. Fucking
He
knew
wasn't
it.
working alone.
Knew it!
Because who are you radioing if there's no one but you?
So smart.
You missed it. Further investigation would show that Anthony had 2 accomplices, a getaway driver and a warehouse owner who stored the money. But after only a couple weeks, $220,000 was all that was left of the $400,000.
Dang.
Due to a deal cut with police, only Anthony Curcio was charged with robbery and witness tampering, serving 6 years in prison at the age of 28.
6 years. Not a lot. I suppose the armed robbery was only bear mace. It wasn't like he would have gotten more time, I feel, if it was like a gun or if he'd injured somebody. But 6 years doesn't seem much at all for that, does it?
Emily, shockingly, had no idea of the crime.
Damn.
That's not a shock to me.
Well, I mean, they live
What's
in the
wrong?
same household. I tell my wife everything. I imagine you tell yours as well.
Yeah, but you're also not a robber. A
But,
thief.
well, I mean,
A
if
no
they're-
goodnik.
Yeah, but if they're down
That's
on their
true.
luck, right?
He's probably like, I better do this to save my wife.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're the type that's secretly addicted to drugs and stuff like that, I feel like there's a lot more that he was probably hiding from her rather than just robbing a bank, you know what I'm saying?
I just find it hard to believe that he could pull it off. Like he's like on Craigslist doing the post, buying the outfit for himself, going down there, setting up the wire at the river. What's he saying? Like, I'm going out for a drink with the boys, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure, yes. It sounds like he's just lying to her a lot.
Well, that's
Yeah,
a shame.
he sounds like that kind of guy.
Emily shockingly had no idea the crime occurred until Anthony's name appeared as lead suspect on television. If you're watching Cheers and all of a sudden we get a breaking news update on TV that Sarah has robbed a bank,
I'd be like, hell yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a subset question. Who would you be most surprised of between Steven and myself if you found out one of us robbed a bank?
You.
I respect that.
Do you not feel the same way between me and Steven?
I would be very surprised if you robbed a bank. Steven?
I would be surprised if he hadn't robbed a bank yet.
We're talking about a guy who makes shows based around
This
the
guy's
concept
sick and
of
twisted.
money.
He's got to feed his
Come
hunger.
on,
and the hunger knows no bounds.
And his Tesla's not going to charge itself.
It sure isn't. I
It
see him
isn't.
out there walking. He's pacing like a lion in a zoo.
He's probably robbing a bank right now.
I haven't seen him in a while.
The police gave Alan Dean, if you recall the unhoused man, a reward for his help. With it,
Hey.
Dean bought a Nissan Pathfinder.
Hell yeah.
Great car.
Great car.
Dean told them,
Tis.
quote, I'm going back to see my kids again.
See, now this is what I hoped for. That's lovely.
You got it. You got your happy ending. He wasn't a criminal. He helped solve a case. And
That
now
is much better
he's got a
than my
great reunion
theory.
with his little
And
kids.
for the record, I trusted this man the whole time.
You did, and that's on record.
Yeah.
You don't even have to say for the record.
For the record.
It's on the record.
Print it.
At this point, the statute of limitations has run out on the crime. Anthony Curcio is the only one to ever be charged in connection to the heist, despite Detective Tim Bazell's personal...
Look at him. He's not chill at all. DB Tuber. Not chillaxing. We were all rooting for you.
Detective Tim Bazell's personal appeals to both federal and county prosecutors to press charges on the others involved. In prison, Anthony got sober and started to draw children's books.
Oh,
After being released from prison,
bit weird.
he became a best-selling author with books such as, oh my God, I can't believe you wrote this book. Stephen Curry, The Boy Who Never Gave Up, and My Daddy's in Jail.
on the plus side of the scale, if you're gonna rob a bank, hey,
At least he
you know,
turned it
don't
around.
You can't say, you don't encourage someone to rob a bank.
rob a bank.
Today, Anthony and Emily Curcio are still together, living in Washington. He gives
That's
talks to schools
nice.
throughout the U.S. on the dangers of drug abuse
At least she's stuck with him. It's got to be something to the marriage. Maybe not as much of a douchebag as I've been wont to suspect.
and how to make positive choices. Remembering the heist years later, Anthony said, quote, "It was the perfect crime." You know the funny thing? I grew up in Monroe and never once saw a homeless guy. Maybe he was some kind of angel, end quote. If Anthony's crime had been a little more perfect, this may have truly been a D.B. Cooper sequel. But in making crucial mistakes, he gave himself away, and we can officially call this mystery solved.
Solved.
I'm happy for these
Look at them.
folks.
Look at those two kids.
I'm proud.
They're
Look at-
happy.
Yeah, they got a gazebo
Oh, I need to cough.
back there.
And also, the heist, I hate to say it, fucking ruled. It was
It
a funny
did.
heist.
You know what?
It
I'm
was a
glad he's
funny
proud of
heist.
it. Again, rough to pepper spray someone, but he should be proud of it.
There-
It was-
Well, I mean, it's better to pepper spray somebody rather than shoot them in the face like a lot of robbers would do, so.
This is really the perfect crime.
It had the trifecta for me. And I don't even know what, I'm gonna make these 3 points up as I go.
Number one.
Number one, victimless essentially, kind of.
Yeah.
You know. Number two, funny outfits.
Sure.
Gotta love funny
Yeah.
outfits.
Yes, yes, yes.
And number three, it involved a lazy river.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And let's be honest. A
Tubin.
bit romantic.
It is a bit romantic.
He's doing it for
He
his
was doing
lovely
it
wife.
for his family and his kids because they made a couple bad choices on real estate. Who
And
hasn't
hey,
done that?
Hey, look, the housing collapse.
they have
You know,
kids?
that made people do
Suppose they did.
crazy things.
If
I'm
he's
sure.
saying-
And next time we're up in Washington, maybe they'll invite us over for dinner.
Make it happen. Open invitation from you to us. That's not how those work, but
We invite
The
you to
tubers,
invite
Mr. and
us.
Mrs.
exactly.
Tuber.
Or they can come hang out in our basement.
that's true. Not a lot of air in here, and
No.
the big guy farts a lot.
Oh, cool. Like do a okay.
All right, I think that's it. Right. Well, that was that. I enjoyed that. yeah, like the format of not necessarily knowing whether or not it was solved, kind of laying clues and solve the crime along with them, and yes, entertaining. I like that it was nice and like light-hearted, more their jokey side, which is good because obviously we all love that, don't we? And that's why we watch The Boys. My theory wasn't completely 100% right in the end. I only got it partially right, but let me know what you guys thought below. Did you guys get it right? Did you get it wrong? Did you pick up on the walkie-talkie? Did you? But I hope you enjoyed that. If you could comment, like, subscribe, share the video, do all those nice things, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.